Hello, all you beautiful people out there. What is going on? This is your friend Birdie coming at you fast with another Paragon tips and tricks video. And today we are going to be looking at rotation and timing using that rotation. We're going to be playing a Sevarog who I decided to master next after Grux. We got Grux mastered recently, and now we're moving on to Sevarog. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to show you guys some examples and talk about rotation and how to use it properly and to your best advantage, timing it well with the enemy's movements and your teammates and allies' movements as well. So the biggest thing about rotation and timing is that there's no surefire way to really practice it. Okay, it's not like map awareness. It's not like skill shotting or aiming or rather jungling. You can't really practice it because it's super spontaneous. You don't know what the enemy's going to do. You don't know what your teammates are going to do. So the best way to practice it is just to play. But you do want to look out for a lot of things when you are trying to rotate. So let's go over those things first. So you're always looking at your map, obviously. Map awareness is always key. You're always looking at your map. And you're keeping a lot of things in your head at the same time. Like what's going on the field, who just backed, who just died, where was this hero or enemy last seen on the map, and how am I going to react to it? So right there in the beginning, you saw a team fight over black buff. I noticed that our entire team was grouping, so I decided to rotate with our team and get a few easy kills just for CP purposes. We weren't able to act on a tower. Here I see Lieutenant Bellica overextended in the middle, so I come up real quick with Gadget. She already has her wave pushed. I come up, kill this Bellica real quick, and now we're pushing this tower without any interference because looking at the map, knowing and seeing from previous activity on the map that nobody's going to be able to rotate quick enough, we're able to get a clean tower out of it. Now, rotating can be used in a defensive method, offensive method. If you're a jungler, it's used to steal jungle offensively. I was just abusing the enemy Grux's jungle this entire game, which in fact, Sevarog's a really good jungle bully. But you got to be able to time it well as well when it comes to rotating. I have a lot of examples in this game because it's really hard to describe really how and when to do it, and the best way is just to illustrate it, honestly. And I know that sounds like a cop-out answer, but that's why I have a lot of different clips shown here, guys, in this gameplay. So right here is a defensive rotation. Now, I noticed that our Twin Blast backed, and that's another thing, is when you have a teammate, leaving a lane, backing a lane, make sure that you fill that spot, okay? Never have an empty lane or an uneven lane. And I was a bit slow on the rotation because we weren't on comms, I was solo queuing, and they ended up getting that tower because it was already super weak, but we didn't leave empty-handed, okay? Muriel and I persist, we keep up, we know that Richter doesn't have any getaways, and so we end up killing him. So we trade a tower for a kill, but now Richter's down for a really long time. And this is going to give us some room. This is going to give us a time window to counter push. And this clip is probably the best example of timing because it's literally within seconds. And those seconds are the difference between taking this tower that we're about to take and or not, which could have affected the game a bit differently if we didn't take this tower right here. So, just playing it out, waiting for the enemy to make a move. We see that the enemy drops down into the jungle. Both of them were in the jungle due to our knowledge of wards, due to us seeing that they dropped down to the jungle. And you guys can see on your screen right now the enemy, which is blue, took all that time to rotate. I had black buff. I knew that they wouldn't be able to get to us in time, and if they did, they wouldn't be able to do much damage. Well, we did end up fighting here anyway because the enemy did come running along and congregating, and our teammates came up and congregating, and Twin Blast did a good job of shooting for me, but honestly he really didn't need to. I could have gone out of there myself. I was just sticking around to make sure he got out in time, but he ended up dropping down, and that was the mistake right there. I didn't want that to happen. So now as the tank, I gotta go and help support my Twin Blast. Muriel ults on Twin Blast, and now we're fighting. So we're stuck in this situation. We didn't want him to have an easy free kill, so we end up trying to fight this. We end up killing the enemy Twin Blast, which is a good trade. We also end up killing Lieutenant Bellica down there, which is also a good trade. I end up staying alive, but then our Twin Blast dies and our Muriel dies. So it's a 2 for 2. So honestly, it was a situation that could have been avoided, but it happened anyway. But still, that's another example of rotation. Not all the way across the map, but that's still an example of rotation. Staying with your allies, making sure they get out safely, supporting them, and not ditching them. Like, if you go in a sprint mode, don't just be like, oh, see you later. Sucks to be you, left with the enemy. You kind of got to go and help them out if you can. If not, if it's 100% a lost cause, then get out of there. Don't feed yourself. Now, here's another example where we're going to be pushing up on this left lane for orange on the overall map. It's the right lane, blue lane, however you want to call it. I get in by slipping behind this Faye. And I know that my teammates are on this tower, and I want to come in and I want to tank it, deal some damage, and also gank these two enemies so that we can continue further advancing onto the tier 2. So Lieutenant Bellica ends up dying, and now we're fighting again. So the biggest thing while we're initiating this fight scene, and I end up killing Greystone by shooting Faye over to him. I thought he had his ult, by the way, but Faye already drained his ult, so she just ended up killing him back there, which was kind of funny. But anyway, the biggest thing about rotation is looking at the map as much as you can and looking for empty spots, open spots on the map, and timing it well, not only, being there in the right space at the right place, but also at the right time, okay? They go hand in hand. Space and time go hand in hand. So you have to be able to see, okay, this person just backed, so if they backed, I'm going to push a lane. As simple as that, right? If you're laning against somebody, like in solo lane and blue lane, and you notice that they just backed, well, you can go ahead and push the lane quick as fuck, like not even care about last hits, just push it up so the minions get up on the tower, and 100% of the time, they will do at least a little bit of damage to the tower, depending on what state in the game it is. Later on, mid-game, you can already take a tower if that stuff happens, and that's only possible because of that beautiful timing, especially on this map, okay? Those of you who don't know that there is a second map on its way. It's going to be much smaller, and that's why it's hard to make videos right now at this moment in time, because that map is going to be the prioritized one. Okay, that's going to be the more important one, which is why I want to kind of hold off on making crucial videos for that map to see how it plays out there. I'm going to have to make a whole new jungling guide too. But basically, off of that, because of killing the two blue enemy people, I don't know why I just wanted to say team, two enemy people, we were able to push up on that lane, take down a tower, and out-rotate the enemy, okay? We were able to push out all the other lanes in that situation if you were to look at the map. And that gave us enough breathing room to get up on Orb Prime and take it. And then, again, me being the tank, me being aggressive, knowing that we have a CP bonus, all right, knowing that we have more CP than the other team, I'm always going to be instigating these team fights and waiting for my allies to rotate. Twin Blast and Greystone coming through, ganking Grux, ganking Richter, and now we get 2 easy kills here, and we're able to take this tower even in the middle of getting these kills. That's how tanky we are with this Orb Prime buff, which is great, and we're just going to keep advancing, okay? The whole thing with MOBAs is timing. Always being able to catch the enemy out of position and then utilizing that for yourself. We caught that Richter out of position, and now we're able to keep pushing on this tower. Now, we're not going to be able to get this inhibitor this time around. We do end up getting it later, but I don't want to show this rotation. What I do want to show is me rotating over here to the left, because if you look at the map, everything's pushed up, and these minions on the side are pushed up as well. Now, my teammates, I was assuming were going to keep pushing middle, but they actually ended up leaving, which was kind of not a good idea. I wanted them to keep presence there in the middle on the inhibitor, so I would be able to split push this left. Instead, the enemy was able to back and then divert their fire onto me. But what I did here was I rotated to an empty lane, and when I knew that my allies had the advantage over their middle, I decided to do some quick split pushing, thinking, hey, maybe I can get this side tower. Now, that's not always the best thing to do. You usually do want to stay grouped as much as possible, especially for snowballing stuff. But I thought, hey, we're all pretty weak. We're probably not going to be able to take that inhibitor anyway, and the enemy will have enough time to respawn by the time we do, so I'm just going to push up this lane. Now again, after taking this inhibitor, we had the map control. They were too busy defending the inhibitor, and I was again pushing up this lane while my allies were taking prime, and I was doing a thing called zoning, or I was getting ready to zone in case somebody was running up, but nobody came up at all, so I could just push this lane very easily. Now, the way I knew how to zone from that position is because we put wards into their jungle. Again, always wards, very important for rotation, helps you see the enemy on the map, helps you decide which lane to go to and when, so of course, always use wards, but that goes without saying. So because I was able to push up this lane while they were taking this Orb Prime buff, we were able to accelerate the process, okay? Because I was able to push up this lane, it accelerated our minion wave to the point where the blue team was still in the process of rotating over completely, and they were missing 1 or 2 people defending this tower right now. That gave us enough opportunity to go in here and kill Grux, who was caught out of position by my peels, and there we go. So now, because the entire team wasn't there to defend that Grux, we were able to get the advantage, and just that little bit of preliminary pushing on my part before Orb Prime was actually completely taken allowed us and gave us enough time utilized the timing aspect of this game to our full ability, and we were able to make taking this tower easier now. Now, Greystone is actually stuck here between tower, between inhibitor, and I honestly thought he was going to jump on tower right here, but he wasn't. So I was like, okay, man, what's going on? I mean, you're a tank, you're supposed to dive this tower. I would love to, but I don't know if my teammates would follow me. And I was kind of weak from that Grux confrontation. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to root that Twin Blast. I keep missing. I keep hitting the Richter instead. I want to root that Twin Blast, and I want to hit him with my ult like I did with Grux. But, that doesn't happen, and Greystone just comes in with this tower and rotates in. So it's another, I wish this Greystone would have done it earlier to prove my point a bit better, but Greystone could utilize that rotation very well and easily, and there he goes, diving in, seeing his window of opportunity, diving in and hitting this tower, going on the Twin Blast, and it's donezo from here. That's all I was waiting for. I wanted him to rotate in so we would be able to storm the castle, so to speak. The enemy team ends up surrendering. So that's about it, guys. Just a lot of examples. I didn't really say anything because it's really hard to express this in words. Honestly, just look at the map, see if anything's open, see if your allies need help or if something needs to be pushed. Always look for opportunities to kill the enemy team and, catch them out of position. And because, less enemy, less opposition makes it easier to push it, basically. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. And as always, make sure you all have a wonderful day.